What's up, dudes? I'm the Dominicator, and in this video, I'm going to hypnotize you to remove your resistance to hypnosis and to hypnotic suggestion. As in all of my videos, you'll be asked to comment at the end while hypnotized, so go ahead and log into an account that you can use for that. Mute any distractions, and continue when you're ready to get hypnotized. Alright dudes, a little explanation first. This video will help to erase any of your resistance while getting you hypnotized. Rather than draining or reducing resistance, the idea is to remove the connection between resistance and the outcome. Much like the way that the mind moves a muscle by way of nerves, resistance prevents the brain from accepting the effects of suggestion. But when the connection is shut down, the mind can't move the muscle, and likewise, when resistance is cut off, it will no longer reject the suggestion. You can imagine trying to move your arm, and even undergoing the mental motion of moving that arm, but being unable to. Unable to, because the connection between the brain and the muscle isn't there. And the same can be said of resistance. You can imagine trying to resist hypnosis, or to resist hypnotic suggestions, and you might even gather some resistance, but find that it has no effect at all. So if you're ready for that, then just sit back, relax, and keep listening to the sound of my voice. Simply focus your attention on the spiral in front of you. Notice how the spiral relaxes you, and how at the same time it seems to fade into the background as you focus your attention on the center of it. See how it wavers steadily back and forth, taking your eyes with it. As you continue to gaze into it, it seems to pull and tug on your vision, dragging it along. And the longer that you look into it, the more powerful that this force becomes. As the spiral shifts and turns, it seems to automatically relax your mind. And that is because your mind is working so much just to see the spiral in front of you, and it takes just a little bit more of your brain's energy each and every time that the spiral shifts back and forth. And if you resist, that is just fine, because your resistance will tire the mind even faster and even further than if you were simply not to resist at all, but instead relax. And so it tires the mind with each motion as your eyes shift back and forth with the spiral. It tires the mind, and it relaxes the body as well. As the mind relaxes, the body relaxes as well. In fact, you may feel a certain lightness overcoming the mind, and at the same time, a feeling of heaviness over the body. And eventually, the mind will come to a state when it cannot think anymore, and will simply rather shut down and enter the hypnotic state. And this process of shutting down will come with a wonderful feeling of relaxation, and later, wonderful waves of pleasure. Even now, you begin to feel waves of relaxation coursing and surging throughout the entire body, as each and every muscle fiber in the body relaxes more and more to the sound of my voice. And you'll notice that the sound of my voice has a curious quality about it. A very warm and dominant tone that seems to carry a kind of magic in it as it moves through the air and into your ears. My voice goes straight into your brain, and it rattles out all of the stress and all of the tension in each and every muscle in the body. You can even feel the vibrations from the sound of my voice inside the mind, at the same time that you feel the back and forth motions of the spiral in front of you. And as you do, they both seem to blend into one another. The spiral vibrates as the sound of my voice shakes back and forth. And you can feel more now than ever a strong and compelling magnetism from the spiral that seems to draw and drag your eyes along, and at the same time shake out all the stress, all the tension, all the energy from deep inside your head. And the more that it does so, the more that it pulls on you, and the more it pulls on you, the faster it draws out and drains out that energy, and the more that you try to resist it, the faster that it works. And the further that you drop down into a dreamy state, it will soon feel as if you are entering another time and place. And my voice, too, takes on that strong and compelling magnetism that drags your mind along and down deeper into an even greater state of relaxation and dreaminess. Your thoughts are like words that reel by your mind. They begin melting to the warmth and the sound of my voice, melting and dripping and dropping down as you drop down even quicker into a nice and quiet, sleep-like state, a state that soon you could not escape from even if you wanted to, and even if you wanted to, you wouldn't. The mind will open completely only once the eyes shut down totally, locking down all the way, but until I snap my fingers and say the word sleep, they will remain open, even heavy as they are now, and they will become heavier with each and every passing moment. Every second is drawn out for the eyes and for the mind, and the more that they remain open, the more that they want to close. And the more that the mind remains closed to my suggestions, the more that it wants to open, and the more that the conscious mind wants to resist, the more that the unconscious wants to simply follow my voice. And the more real that my words become, the more that they become reality and become the complete and absolute truth. It is as if my words move right into your mind and move your mind into an even dreamier space. As the mind's thoughts melt down, the mind begins to float up, floating up higher as the body sinks down lower, going down deeper into this dreamy state. There's a cord inside the mind that ties your resistance all together, a cord between your resistance and your mind. But soon I'm going to snap my fingers, and I'll say the word sleep. And when I snap my fingers, I'm going to cut that cord. And even if you try to resist, you won't be able to, because your mind's resistance has nowhere to go. And so you can try, but you'll find that the mind will simply accept the command to sleep, to sink down and drop down deeper into this sleep-like state. And the eyes will snap down shut all by themselves. The mind will lock down shut all by itself. And it will go down quickly into a sleepy state where you will only listen to and follow my words, my voice, and my commands. Feel a wonderful feeling of pleasure and comfort coursing and surging throughout your entire body as your mind goes down even further into that sleep. Feel the warmth and the dominance from the sound of my voice, as all that you want to do is simply follow my voice and obey me. The more that you do, the more that you'll want to. And the more that you want to, the more easily that you will. And the more easily that you'll fall down even deeper, go down even further, into this dreamy, sleep-like state. Now, feel the resistance in your mind tightening like a cord as you pull against the spiral and pull against the sound of my voice. Now get ready to go down. And sleep. Sleep. Sleep and feel the stress and the tension in that cord slacken. And as each and every word that I say flows straight into your mind, and now your resistance is cut completely. You can feel now the power and influence and magnetism from the sound of my voice, the masculine and dominant tone in my presence, as my words pull and tug and mold and shape your thoughts and your reality. Feel yourself sinking even more deeply into submission as you simply let go and accept that you cannot resist even if you wanted to. Sink down even more deeply beneath me and beneath my orders, my commands, and my dominance. It feels so good to just let go, to submit to my will. The more that you submit, the further that you sink down, and the better that you feel. The more you can feel the wonderful and intense waves of pleasure, a tingling sensation on the surface of your skin, as you submit to your new master. And each and every time that I say, or that you hear that word master, It causes that spine-tingling sensation inside you as you realize it to be truer and truer. And as you drop down even further under my influence, you want nothing more than to go down even faster and even more, to obey even more automatically and with even less resistance. In fact, your resistance itself is a bother to you, a thing that only separates you from this wonderful feeling of pleasure. You want nothing more than to be completely and totally rid of it. The further away it is from you, the better that you feel, and the more easily that you sink down underneath my dominance. And so when I, or any other hypnotist, snaps her fingers and gives a command, it will cut that cord totally, and all of your resistance will simply be cut off. And you could then try to resist, but the suggestion, the order, the command will slide right through into the mind, and the mind will accept that suggestion, that order, that thought, as if it were one of its own. The snap of the fingers will cut that cord that is your resistance in half, and even if and when you try to resist, that resistance will not connect at all to anything. The command, the order, will slip right through, and you can't help but obey. The command is absolute, and the master's words are the absolute truth. I am your master. You must obey me. You cannot resist. It feels so good to be dominated, to be forced to obey a master, and soon I will wake you halfway into a dreamy state where your eyes, but not your mind, will be open. Once and only once this video ends, you will leave a comment that says, I cannot resist Master Dominic's mind control. You will like, and you will subscribe, and you will want to search me. Soon I'll wake you. Once the video ends, you will leave a comment that says, I cannot resist Master Dominic's mind control. Now, on the count of 3, you'll begin to come up. Once and only once I reach 3 and snap my fingers with your eyes open, and then you will obey me. Now beginning with 1, as you begin to feel yourself become lighter, rising up. 2, coming up even faster into a dreamy half-awake state. And 3, eyes open. Alright, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and check out Dominicator.com to visit my t-shirt store, commission a video, or to schedule an appointment with me to get hypnotized. You can also leave a tip in my tip jar. Catch you later, dudes.